number of COVID-19 cases continues to rise globally and right here in Guyana. Therefore, we encourage everyone to practice social distancing. Wear a mask if you have to leave your homes and wash your hands thoroughly and frequently as we strive to stop the spread of the virus. Welcome to InfoHub for Tuesday, August 11. Thanks for joining us as we continue to highlight the work of the new PPPC government, which is working to ensure that Guyana is led down a path of national development. Minister of Agriculture, Honorable Zulfikar Mustafa, has reiterated that the new PPPC administration is committed to revamping the sugar industry and returning prosperity to those workers who were sacked by the previous government. Here is our first story.
Speaking at a virtual press briefing on Tuesday, Minister Mustafa explained that due to the incompetence and the mismanagement by the previous administration, the Guyana Sugar Corporation Gaisuku was forced into an extremely dire position.
The corporation will not be in a position to pay wages from weekending 24th of August. Under the previous administration, a request was made to NISIL for an amount of $1 billion, but only $550 million was received to date.
Noting that the capital program suffered from a lack of funding, the minister explained that from this year's budget of $3.24 billion, the corporation only expended $82 million due to external funding not being made available.
There was a shortfall of 9,461 tons of sugar in production for the first crop of 2020. A target of 46,476 tons of sugar were set just before the crop. Only 37,015 tons of sugar were produced. Current projections show that the corporation would require an additional $1.6 billion between now and the end of the year from external funding for capital and ongoing operational expenditure.
Meanwhile, over at the Guyana Rice Development Board, Minister Mustafa said initial checks revealed a delay in payment of commission to the Board of Millers.
My ministry will act immediately to reverse these situations so that these debts can be paid from Panama. We will also meet with the millers to have them work on payments for the millers as soon as possible.
For InfoHub, I am Kelon Rover.
Quick action taken as a number of households on the quarantine benefited from relief hampers to aid in sanitizing their homes, which were severely affected by flood water due to heavy rainfall at the weekend.
The project was executed in less than 24 hours following a visit to the ancient county Sunday, August 9. The visit included several government officials, namely Minister of Agriculture, Honorable Zulfikar Mustafa, and Minister of Local Government and Regional Development, Honorable Nigel Daramlal. The team was led by CDC Senior Response Officer, Captain Salim October.
So the Civil Defense Commission, working alongside the Neighborhood Democratic Councils and the Regional Democratic Council, has been engaging in an exercise to bring relief to the most impacted residents within the catchment by providing them cleaning hampers that includes supplies that would assist them to clean and sanitize their yards and their homes. And that is to help them to return their homes to normalcy.
According to Captain October, these severely impacted communities include numbers 53, 54, and 58 villages.
As you know, within the past week, we've had some excessive rainfall within this area, stretching between numbers 53 village to 58 village on the Quarantine Coast. Due to the unusual heavy rainfall, we would have seen a number of lands as well as homesteads were inundated with water, with flood waters. And that has been exacerbated due to poor drainage solutions in the area, a number of clogged canals, and a number of drainage infrastructure that have not been maintained and desilted of recent. So as a result of that lack of maintenance and perhaps some faulty infrastructure along the way, a number of communities would have faced severe flooding at this time.
Some residents expressed their appreciation for the assistance.
It's good, everybody needs some kind of help because it was sudden, and then if you anticipate something, well, you're prepared, but then if you didn't anticipate it, you get caught. So that's it. But Civil Defense Commission, I know, is always a place that will assist.
I thank the CDC for it because due to the flood, as you could see in the yard, what's going on in the yard here, it's only this morning I get a little relief due to the excavated dig and the water got on this morning.
The government, through the Agriculture Ministry, has promised to render assistance to the affected areas. A health team is expected to be dispatched shortly to inform persons of the preventative measures which can be taken to protect themselves and families. Natisha Isaacs for InfoHub.
As the new government swings into action amid the COVID-19 pandemic, several agencies are joining the fight to help curb the spread of the virus. Today, Minister of Health, Honorable Dr. Frank Anthony, accepted several items, inclusive of defibrillators and cardiac monitors, which he noted will play an integral part in the ministry's efforts. Here are the details. The Minister of Health, while expressing his gratitude for the donation from the National Medical Response Team, highlighted some of the government's plans for the sector amid the COVID-19 pandemic.
We want to build a fleet of government ambulances, and we also want to see the private sector develop their own ambulance service, but in coordination with a national kind of response. The current response that we have with COVID cannot only be a government response. We have to get a multi-stakeholder response, and the business community would play an integral role in such a response.
The minister disclosed that the government has been working hard to acquire self-protection equipment for healthcare workers and those visiting public health institutions. Mr. Haritaran Tulsi, a representative of the National Medical Response Team, issued a call to the business community to assist in efforts aimed at moving the country forward. Guyanese are being assured that the manifesto of the People's Progressive Party Civic is a vision for development of the entire country, not just a specific group. Find out more in this story.
During a Government in Focus program aired on the National Communications Network, the Attorney General reassured that the vision of the PPPC government caters for the development of the entire country.
We are here to build a country. We have a vision. Our manifesto was not crafted at Freedom House in a back room in isolation by 2 or 3 persons.
The Attorney General disclosed that nationwide consultations were conducted.
We consulted nationally across this country. We had a big symposium, if you recall, at the new thriving restaurant at Providence.
Yes.
We took submissions on board from every sector in this country, from the agri sector, from all the productive sectors, from the private sector, from the religious organizations, from the labor movement, from ethnic-based organizations, and we amassed that together and consolidated it in one document.
The PPPC's manifesto, on which the party campaigned on, the AG asserted, meets the expectations of every Guyanese.
So that document, the policies and promises contained in that document, they meet the expectations of every sector of our country and every segment of our population, irrespective of geographic location, ethnicity, religion, etc., etc.
In November 2019, when the PPPC launched its manifesto, then presidential candidate and now President, His Excellency Dr. Mohamed Irfan Ali, had described it as holistic, systematic, targeted, results-oriented, people-centered, and people-driven. For InfoHub, Stacey Carmichael.
More news after this short break. Welcome back. The PPPC government is keen on collaborating with its regional and international counterparts. Let's tell you now that Guyana and Suriname, two emerging nations on the oil and gas front, have committed to lending support to each other to build capacity within the sector. During a recent media engagement, Minister of Foreign Affairs Honorable Hugh Todd disclosed that collaboration between the two nations was one of the areas discussed during the bilateral talks held between President Dr. Mohamed Irfan Ali and Suriname's President Chandrika Prasad Santokhi.
We'll be looking at the oil and gas sector to see how we can do our collaborations, especially in terms of training. As we all know that Guyana is somewhat deficient in terms of our ability to grapple with the fast-moving pace in the oil and gas sector, and that is something that we have to work on.
Guyana and Suriname will also be collaborating on local content development. This, Minister Todd said, will provide much-needed assistance to the local private sector.
That is important to allow our citizens in both countries to benefit from the oil and gas sector.
As the government continues to be proactive in its development efforts, Minister of Natural Resources Honorable Vikram Bharat earlier today committed to ensuring the effective and efficient management of the Guyana Forestry Commission, Guyana Geology and Mines Commission, and the Guyana Gold Board. The Natural Resources Minister visited the agencies and met with its senior staff members, where he listened to their concerns and assured his commitment to having them resolved at the level of the Cabinet. He noted that it is his intention to tackle issues with a hands-on approach.
I believe in order to manage the sector properly, then you need to build this kind of team spirit, teamwork with the people who are working tirelessly in these sectors to ensure that we push Natural Resource Ministry forward.
Minister Bharat also stressed the need for collaborative effort between the three agencies.
I see these agencies as sister agencies and not agencies that should be competing against each other or holding or withholding resources from each other, because they're under the umbrella of the Ministry of Natural Resources, and at the end of the day, the proceeds from these agencies is for the benefit of all Guyanese. So wherever possible, I'll be looking at wherever possible, these agencies can collaborate and cooperate in bringing down costs, in managing the sector more effective. We'll definitely forge ahead with those.
Also hitting the ground running, Minister of Public Service Honorable Sonia Parag is assuring that her ministry will be working to bridge the gap between the public sector and citizens.
Newly appointed Minister of Public Service, the Honorable Sonia Parag, met with staff of her ministry recently. Speaking on the sidelines of that meeting, Minister Parag informed that the meeting was part of an analysis to determine what currently obtains in the various departments.
So it's really to get an understanding of what has been taking place in here for the last 5 years, more recently the last year, and just to see where we can move from there.
The Public Service Minister noted that the modernization of the public sector is priority, noting that it is important that the citizens are satisfied with the standard of the public sector.
But generally the public service, what we're looking at is to modernize or infiltrate a modernization of the public service so that we are on the same level or that standard that is high enough as the other regions, as the international community, and to bring that professionalism to the public service that perhaps we're lacking.
In her meeting with the staff, the minister expressed her expectation of the highest level of professionalism. The matter of scholarships is also being addressed.
We're working on that right now to see how we will be able to deal with those, with the immediate issues with scholarships, and then we also have to look at the entire scholarship program as it is.
Currently, the Public Service Training College is working on doing training programs virtually. For InfoHub, Stacey Carmichael.
Remember to do your part to ensure you do not put yourself at risk during this time. If you have a cough, fever, and a difficulty breathing, seek medical care early, but call the hotline first. That's all for today. Connect with us on all our social media platforms, including Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram, and visit our website, dpi.gov.gy, as we bring you the latest and important news on what the government is doing to ensure the continued development of our country. Your Bridge reports are up next. Goodbye for now.